Greetings, darlings. This is Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, back again with Chronic Wellness. I have a really dear friend who I'm going to refer to as Jay, and recently she was tested for POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardic syndrome. And POTS manifests in a variety of ways, but for many of us, POTS is about autonomic dysregulation. So, um, our autonomic nervous system not being something that we can regulate well. So, changes in sweating, changes in heart rate, the inability to regulate our blood pressure, um, fainting upon standing. Those are some of the classic indicators of POTS. And when she told me that she was going in to get tested for POTS, I was like, yeah, duh. Um, how is this the first time your doctors are talking to you about it? Obviously, you have POTS. that was my probably what I said to her. and I was also surprised to learn about the testing that's now available for POTS. She was booked in for, I think, 2 hours, but the testing that she went through actually ended up only taking an hour and included tilt table testing and having a chest Halty and sweat tests and maybe some nerve testing. And within a day, in her My Chart, her electronic charting system, she got the news that she didn't test positive for POTS. And this is someone who has been dealing with 20 years worth of difficult health and was in a life-altering car accident and has adrenal failure and broke most of the bones in her neck when that car accident happened. And the the lack of that diagnosis came as a shock and hit her hard. I was with her that following day, um, and I watched a fragility inside her that I could so relate to, kind of the collapsing internally and the invalidation that comes when I believe something is true and learn that it isn't, and that fear around maybe there isn't a diagnosis. If this isn't the diagnosis, what is? Uh, what does it mean for something to be psychosomatic? Am I just, using a pejorative term here, crazy? Is this all in my head? What about these physical symptoms that I now don't have an explanation for? And it becomes one more way that we, with chronic illnesses, chronic pain, feel or become invalidated, which I'm going to just remind you is the root of the word invalid, which is often affiliated with illness and disability, is the word that is used in French for disability, invalid. Um, and and is the word that I most affiliate with this feeling. Invalidated, not made valid, not given the full weight of validation, of affirmation, of support, of recognition, of others' acknowledgement, awareness, ability to be seen. Later, my friend, Jay, saw her primary care physician. And when she brought this issue, this lack of a diagnosis, to that doctor, he reminded her of the thing that I say here all the time, which is, you are not your diagnosis. You are not your diagnosis, which is the absolute truth. And the lack of this POTS diagnosis does not take away from or remove the fact that you have a racing heartbeat. You have unusually low blood pressure. Often when you stand, you become lightheaded. Many times when you are around other people, you are inexplicably stricken with vertigo, or these symptoms of nausea, or the need to regulate your autonomic nervous system in ways that other people's bodies do for them unconsciously. Those symptoms are still just as real, regardless of the fact that you did not test positive for POTS. So just because our medical system has not caught up with your body's symptoms does not need to be a reason that you are invalidated. So I just want to remind those of you who are still seeking diagnoses or have a diagnosis but know that there's more happening in your body than what has been diagnosed, or maybe got test results back that were different than what you were expecting. I'm sorry. And it does not change the truth of the matter. And the truth of the matter is, you know your body. You know what's happening. Do not allow words on a paper or the facts of a single test or multiple tests to invalidate what you know to be true. Doesn't mean it's easy or simple, but we have one another, and that's part of what we can do together, is lift each other up, help one another feel seen, acknowledge the truth of our circumstances out loud, in writing, in these forums, together. So sound off. Tell me what you didn't test positive for. Tell me which diagnoses you don't have, but what symptoms you do have. Tell me what has surprised you, and how you need to be validated and feel acknowledged and feel seen by this beloved community that we've built around Spoonies and those of us with chronic pain and chronic illness. Like or subscribe if you haven't. Pass this along to someone who needs it. And until we're together again, thank you for being here, and be well.